from the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
Welcome back. It's just about 6:30. Good morning. I'm Devin Fehely.
And I'm Julie Watts. President Trump wants to ramp up logging on federal land. He says it'll reduce the risk of wildfires. A new executive order calls for an easing of regulations to allow more timber harvesting. It covers areas run by the Forest Service and the Bureau of Land Management. Now, some environmentalists say the president's approach is too simplistic and ignores the effects of climate change.
This morning, regulators are considering drastic measures for PG&E, including breaking up the utility. The state PUC is outlining a range of options, including replacing the board of directors or turning PG&E into a public entity. This follows concerns that its equipment may have sparked last month's devastating Camp Fire. And this isn't the first time that drastic measures have been on the table. The PUC considered a range of options after the deadly gas explosion in San Bruno in 2010. PG&E responded saying it recognizes the concern from the CPUC. Quote, "We are open to a range of solutions that will help make the energy system safer for the customers we serve."
And the feds are telling California's DMV it must correct how it issues real IDs. Now, those, of course, are the cards that will soon be required to board a plane without a passport. Homeland Security says applicants are supposed to present at least 2 documents with their principal address, but the DMV has only been asking for 1 while issuing more than 2 million IDs this year. It's now promising to require added documentation beginning in April. The feds will still accept existing real IDs. A second document will be necessary for renewals.
And here's a live look at AT&T Ballpark in San Francisco, which is now a possible home field for the Oakland Raiders football team in 2019. The San Francisco Giants confirmed that they are in very early talks with the Raiders about hosting the Silver and Black's home games next season. The Raiders will start playing in Las Vegas for the 2020 season if their new stadium there is built on time. Now, team owner Mark Davis rescinded a rent offer to play at the Coliseum in 2019 because the city of Oakland is suing the team and the NFL for antitrust violations. Now, some San Franciscans say it would be peculiar to have the Oakland Raiders play in San Francisco while the San Francisco 49ers have a permanent home in Santa Clara.
To have the Raiders here, not the Niners? I don't know about that.
Any temporary move to San Francisco would also have to involve agreements between the Raiders, the NFL, 49ers, and Giants. AT&T Park hosted UC Berkeley's football in 2011 when that team's stadium was being renovated. Another season at the Coliseum is not completely ruled out, and other venues are also being considered. We're now just 3 days, 72 hours away from Christmas, and this morning the holiday travel rush is on. Taking a live look now at San Jose's Mineta International Airport on your left, where passengers are coming and going, and also live pictures from SFO and Oakland on your right. The 3 airports are expected to handle about 300,000 passengers today alone. And those long lines will definitely be the story once again today for Bay Area airports. So make sure to give yourself a little extra time before your flight. This was the scene at inside San Francisco Airport yesterday. It was crowded, but it was also controlled chaos. People flying out knew what they were getting into, so many of them were rolling with the punches.
We're supposed to leave at 1:40, and now it's 2:30, and I'm waiting for the next text to come through saying it's delayed again. But, you know, we still have several days till Christmas, so there was really no rush to get up there.
Flights coming in from the East Coast are causing delays for some arriving flights. Double check your flight status before you head out the door. Now, meantime, over to Oakland International Airport, passengers kept the airport jam-packed. This time-lapse video shows travelers hauling luggage around going to and from their destinations. Now, one woman we spoke to was there for a very special airport pickup.
I'm waiting for my grandbaby.
All right, and you excited?
I'm so excited I can't stand it.
Oakland airport officials say passenger counts are expected to be up almost 5% for the next week.
Well, a colossal traffic nightmare in San Jose is finally over after an overturned propane tanker forced parts of 3 major freeways to shut down. Take a look at crews turning that tanker upright just a few hours ago after several hours of concerns about a possible propane leak. It all happened at the interchange where 280, 880 and Highway 17 meet about 6:30 yesterday evening. The tanker crashed on the ramp from northbound 280 to northbound 880. Parts of those freeways had to be closed for hours, snarling busy Christmas shopping traffic for folks heading to Valley Fair and Santana Row. So far, no word on what caused the tanker to overturn. Operating that tanker, though, and making sure the freeway was safe was a tricky operation. The tanker was carrying an estimated 8,600 gallons of propane, a potential threat to a very large area.
Very volatile. For the emergency response guidebook is which first responders use. For scenes like this, it's a half-a-mile radius.
Half-mile radius?
Half mile.
Wow, that's pretty incredible.
It is.
The tanker's driver was reportedly injured, but there's no word yet on his condition. And once again, those stretches of 280, 880, and 17 in San Jose are now all reopened.
A live look at Capitol Hill, where a partial government shutdown is underway. It began last night at midnight after the House and Senate adjourned without a spending deal. Funding has now run out for 9 federal agencies that employ about 800,000 people. Workers deemed essential, like air traffic controllers, will stay on the job without getting paid. But about 400,000 people will be furloughed. Senate Democrats and Republicans have agreed to keep talking. The sticking point is funding for a border wall, which President Trump wants and Democrats oppose.
We said to President Trump a week ago, his wall does not have 60 votes here in the Senate, let alone 50 votes. That much is now clear.
It's up to the Democrats, so it's really the Democrat shutdown.
Republicans support a measure passed by the House that includes $5 billion for a wall, but congressional leaders say they are not sure what kind of compromise the president would support, so they are holding off on any more votes.
That we're not voting on anything else in this chamber relative to this issue until a global agreement has been reached between the president and these two leaders and the leader of the House. So there won't be test votes. Not going to be a tabling vote.
Here's a breakdown of what will and won't stay open. National Park visitor centers, parking lots, and restrooms will be closed, including at Muir Woods and the Golden Gate National Recreational Area. Passport application offices in federal buildings will close, and there will be no processing of homes or business loans. The Presidio San Francisco is operated by the independent Presidio Trust and will not be impacted. The post office will stay open, as well as federal courts, airport security, and border patrol checkpoints. And as for Alcatraz, day tours by Alcatraz Cruises will continue to run, but the behind-the-scenes tour and night tours are canceled until the shutdown is resolved.
Well, Governor Brown is suing to protect criminal justice reforms approved by California voters. Prop 57 allows most inmates to seek early release and participate in rehab programs. Prop 47 reduced some nonviolent crimes from felonies to misdemeanors. The lawsuit's an attempt to block a proposed 2020 ballot measure that would roll back those reforms. 5 robbery suspects are in custody after a high-speed chase in Los Angeles County. The ordeal came to an end yesterday in Hollywood. Investigators say the suspects abandoned their car, running into a neighborhood, jumping fences, and climbing walls before they were captured.
They ended up getting off the freeway, their vehicle, they pulled off the freeway and they abandoned their vehicle and all ran into the neighborhood here.
Now, the suspects are accused of a robbery at a watch store in Pasadena. An employee there suffered a minor injury.
The hood is up. The hood is up. Boom! Whoa! There you go.
Also in Los Angeles County, this time Redondo Beach. Check out the bizarre police chase here as the suspects sped down the freeway with the hood of their Mercedes blowing up onto the windshield. 5 suspects were eventually taken into custody after an officer slammed his SUV, ending the car chase.
Time now for some of this week's top health stories. A new analysis of hundreds of studies suggests that exercise may be just as effective as medication to lower high blood pressure. But researchers in England caution that there have been no direct head-to-head comparison trials yet, and people should not stop taking their blood pressure drugs. Also, a CDC study shows that falling asleep with contact lenses could cause serious health problems. The report shows that every year nearly 1 million people are treated for keratitis, an infection of the cornea, after going to sleep without removing their contact lenses. And psychologists say people who give gifts are happier than people who receive them. That is according to research in Illinois. A study suggests that giving is a more pleasurable experience that lasts longer than the joy of getting gifts.
And some Trader Joe's RX bars are being recalled over fears they were contaminated with peanuts, which are not listed on the ingredients. The affected varieties include the chocolate sea salt flavor and the the coconut chocolate flavor. Customers can get full refunds on these energy bars.
One of the oldest department stores in San Francisco, Gump's, is closing down for good this weekend. The store in Union Square dates back to 1861, and for decades it was a top luxury retailer with items like crystal vases and fancy dinnerware. Its holiday window decorations were also a big draw, but Gump's fell on hard times starting in the 1990s. Its last day is tomorrow.
Final check of weather for you today. If you're heading out and about, temperatures will be in the upper 50s to near 60 around the Bay Area. Here's your travel forecast, though. Mid-50s around much of the Bay, 40s for Lake Tahoe and Yosemite, if that's where your holiday plans take you. Christmas Eve, going to be a wet one, rain off and on, but we will be dry just in time for Santa's arrival overnight Christmas Eve into Christmas Day. Christmas Day does look dry, and it'll be a great chance for folks to head up to the ski resorts and enjoy the fresh powder that comes down. A little white Christmas and a Christmas present for all of those skiers and snowboarders.
Well, it's time for us to call it a morning. Thank you for watching KPIX 5 News this morning.
We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock with Melissa Kane. Enjoy your Saturday.